Yesterday I took a ride to a friend's shop and bought a load of new old stock parts from him. The shop was first his father's and then his. Beginning business in the 50s, they stocked popular and obscure brands. He is chiefly a Stihl dealer now, but they've dealt in Briggs, Poulin, Homelight, Mcculloch, Partner, Lombard, Pioneer, Springfield, Boland's, and more. His shop houses a treasure trove of documents, advertising, old products, parts, and more. But no material goods could top his knowledge about the business, or his kindness in my experience. How can one replace a 65-year history inside a family business? This is the American experience. Can you imagine what he has done and learned over this time? How many of his friends and neighbors has he taken care of in a polite and honest way? Earlier in my life, before I really entered into the industry, I used to be a hobbyist. I would purchase old chainsaws and try and get them to run. Most times I would play around with them for a bit, sell them, and then buy others. There was always a model I wanted to see close up, put my hands on, and hear run. I really liked to resurrect these machines, so I sought them out. The act of finding the chainsaw is definitely more intoxicating for me than the act of cutting wood. Going into the back rooms of shops, looking through the junk piles, finding the diamond in the rough, and then taking it home to tinker. I still love it. About a decade ago, I moved to a town chasing a little work. This area has a rich timber history, so it isn't uncommon to find larger saws in shops. Man, I had some cool finds in my time there. The time that I spent that town left a lasting impression on me and paved the way for my life the way that it is today. I learned a lot there in a short window, and I met my friend there. I went up there in an attempt to create a life for myself in a way that I thought would work out great. I took some risks to do it, quit my steady job, and off we went. Turns out it didn't go the way that I had hoped. The gentleman I worked for was probably one of the most cruel son of a bitches I ever met. What a painful experience that was. I think it took well over a year to recalibrate after that. Have you ever had an experience break you down a bit? It sure is humbling. What could I learn from this experience? My naivete led me into it and made me vulnerable, which was an important lesson. But the most important lesson was the way that he had treated me. I decided after that I'd never let anyone treat me the way he did. And also, I'd never treat anyone the way he treated me. Incredible how this 3 to 4 month window of time has left a lasting impression on me. Aren't we all a sum of our experiences in life? Which leads me back to my friend's shop. For the last 45 years, he has held this business together through recessions, economic changes, demographic shifts, industry changes, COVID-19, the advent of the internet, the rise and fall of manufacturers, and likely much more. He's read every service bulletin, seen every repair, and watched the product lines come and go. How could he be considered the little guy with a wealth of knowledge and experience like this? Is he considered a little guy just because the square footage of his shop and the fact you can't buy some toothpaste and pantyhose at the same time? Over the last decade, him and I have remained in contact, and periodically I'll go up and buy a little more stuff from him that I mainly resell to the collector market. We've always been able to find common ground and have negotiated fairly and respectfully with each other. There is something to be said for that. It is important to be able to talk to someone about the price of their goods in such a way that we mutually respect one another, especially in a world full of Facebook Marketplace where ankle biters would ask for a discount on something you're giving away. Fuck 'em. As we were loading up yesterday, he said to me that his uncle used to work there and he was looking down at us loading up the parts I was buying and likely having a fit. I suppose you could think of it like that. My perspective is a little different though. Every part I sell brings another saw back to life. Fair enough, don't you think? As these dealers come of retirement age and take their experiences with them, who will take their place? Will us younger generations ever become the same in regards to knowledge? What can we do to make sure of that? If we don't invest in ourselves to become these people, are we destined to work in roles for companies that don't care about us? Is there some opportunity here for us to take advantage of? People in my age group have lived a unique existence. We've somehow straddled the line of growing up without any internet at all to seeing it all take place in our lifetime. We have both lived in the digital and analog worlds. Whenever I want to go back in time a bit, I go to these shops, and it helps me remember a time that has since passed. Was it really that great, or is it just the sentimentality talking? This man's whole shop is an expression of what he's done to create a life for himself and his family. He's created and sustained a purposeful existence for a half a century. The parts I find are always cool, but I'll likely forget all about them in time. What I'll remember most is him as a person. Thank you to my friend for allowing me in to share in your personal experience and your family's history.